everyone, this is your captain speaking, and today we're going to do kind of a mock flight of a TV show I used to like, Wings, where they'd be flying from Nantucket to Boston, or just in that general area, but it was taking place on Nantucket. So I figured that we would just do a little VOR flight here and head right on down to Nantucket. So we're going to start over here at Logan, and then we're going to head over to the Marconi Tower, VOR, and then to the Nantucket, and then from there, as we're getting onto approach, we'll be able to contact Nantucket and get some information there. So if we go here, take a look at their runway setup. So they've got runway 24, which would be nice if we were coming in there. Runway 6, those are going to be probably the two that I'm going to be guessing are going to be the ones we'll use. Let's see if there's any other information here. They do have an ILS on both of those, so that can make our job a little bit easier as well. And as we see here, so this is 6,300, and this one here is only 4,500. So pretty sure this is where we're going to be coming in. Again, based on the flight plan that I have mocked up here, it would make really nice for us to be able to come in on runway 24, because we'll pretty much be lined right up. Otherwise, we're going to have to either circle right or left. I'm not sure which traffic pattern they would have us enter in. But should be a nice, easy flight. We'll fly at an altitude of probably 7,500 feet here, just so we can get out of this Class B airspace right in here, and that'll put us well out of any Class C airspace that we may encounter. Okay, like or any of these airports down here. So yeah, we're going to probably climb 7,500, 8,000, somewhere in there, and we'll head on a bearing. Once we do take off and get all that instructions, we can start tuning in our radio stacks as well, and get everything dialed in there. So the first thing we're going to do, okay, we have our aircraft right here. I've got it in a cold start state for the moment, and let's go pull back in. We're going to go ahead and turn the battery on, at least get things going here. Avionics is on. We're going to go ahead and turn the nav lights on as well, just to let everybody know that, hey, we got people in the aircraft. The aircraft is running on its own power right now, and go from there. And so the next thing we can do is we can get our ATIS here.
Boston, airport information, Foxtrot, 2219er.
All right, so we're going with Foxtrot.
Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition, 4,000, scattered. Temperature 2.15, altimeter 2999er, ILS. Runway 15, right and visual. Runway 15, left in use. Landing and departing, runway 15, right in, runway 15, left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Boston airport information, Foxtrot 221.
Okay, good. So we've gotten our ATIS. Our current report is the Foxtrot, which is I'm learning new stuff every day. So they kind of go through the alphabet there whenever there's major weather updates. So now when we contact ground and tower and all that stuff, we say we have Foxtrot. We've got the most recent weather and other essential airport information. We've received that. We are understanding all of that there. So that's all set. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll just ask to depart and remain in pattern. So
Boston ground, beach, Kilo, Juliet.
And that's what we got there.
Ready to taxi, touch and go with Foxtrot.
So we're saying with Foxtrot, that means that, hey,
881, taxi to and hold short of runway 15, right, via taxiway Alpha, November, Kilo, Lima, contact tower on 128.8 when ready.
okay, and we will acknowledge the taxi.
Taxi 2 and hold short, runway 15, right, using taxiway Alpha, November, Kilo, Lima, beach 881.
All right. Probably should have asked for that taxi clearance after the pushback, but that'll be fine. Nobody's around us here. And figured we were going to go out this way. So we are going with Alpha November Kilo Lima. Get our full pushback here. And we can see we do have the nav lights on. Red port, green starboard, and then we also have the white light on the tail. And that should be good for there. And we can put our parking brake on. Now we're going to go ahead and turn our beacon light on, because we are going to tell people, hey, we're going to start up our aircraft and our engines, make sure everybody's clear. All right, and go ahead and start the engines up here. And I don't do manual starts, but I do like to do it off the cold start like we did here. So I just did Control E and get those going. Maybe I'll move to that point with some of these aircraft, but and here goes engine number 2. There we go. That's looking good. Okay. Turn our taxi lights on, but I don't think our taxi lights have never worked for me on any of my aircraft, which is kind of a bummer. If anybody has a fix for that, I would love to know that. But yeah, I just flipped the switch on just for the sake of it. So everything is looking good. There we go. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. So we're going to come in at 114.7. There we go. And our other nav radio, when we switch to it, will be 116.2. Go. Can I switch these off or no? I guess I can't. Well, at least it'll remind me so I can switch it over to there. And then we're coming off of runway 15. But we're going to want to head about, actually we're going to be pretty close to where we want to go, 131, so that's not too bad. So I'll go ahead and switch this to 135, which would be right. There's 120, 135. And we can set our course there after we go through takeoff. And yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. So let's get this show on the road here. So we are going to be coming out over here to our left. Turn the brakes off. I'm just going to move my stuff around here. And change our barometric pressure to the 2999, which is what we had on the Foxtrot ATIS. Looks like we got a 737 on final. So we're Alpha to November. I think that's November. I gotta learn my alphabet. Oh, we've got, some scattered clouds. You can see the stars are coming out. Looks like minimal to no wind. We are using real world weather settings for this flight. It's been pretty calm up here in New England over the past couple of weeks, actually. One of the things we desperately need is rain. We've had no rain, and we went through a very big dry spell earlier, end of last year, earlier this year. And we had a bunch of rain, and then now nothing.
Taxi to gate Charlie 30, using taxiway Kilo Foxtrot Alpha. Taxiing to gate Charlie 30, using taxiway Kilo Foxtrot Alpha. World travel board 101.
Here we are. There we go. I'm going to put the parking brakes on here. There we go. Just a little bit of that. We'll put our flaps down. We'll do just a visual. The ailerons are working. Yeah, everything looks to be good. So I think we are, and we'll set our altitude. Set. We're going to go all the way up to, we'll go 7,500. There we go. All right, I think we are good to go. So we'll tune to tower.
Boston Tower, Beach, Kilo, Juliet, 7881, ready at runway 15, right, touch and go. Beach, Kilo, Juliet, 7881, cleared for takeoff, runway 15, right, touch and go, left traffic, approved. Cleared for takeoff, runway 15, right, Beach, 881.
And we'll turn on our strobe just to give some extra visibility. Go. And let's take off.
Boston Tower, Pacifica 719er 8.14 miles northwest inbound ILS, runway 15, right approach. Pacifica 719er 8, Boston Tower, fly straight in, runway 15, right, altimeter 29er. Fly straight in, runway 15, right, Pacifica 719er 8.
Boston Tower, orbit 2458 is 7 miles northwest, inbound ILS, runway 15, right approach.
Orbit 2458, Boston Tower, fly straight in, runway 15, right, altimeter 29er. Orbit 2458, cleared to land, runway 15, right.
Cleared to land, runway 15, right, orbit 2458.
There we go. strobes on at least for just a little while. So now we can see.
Pacific 719er 8, cleared to land,
Go.
runway 15, right, follow the aircraft on final. Cleared to land, runway 15, right, Pacifica 719er 8.
Here we are. Everything is looking good. There's two aircraft that are coming in for landing, looks like. These will be turned off.
Boston Tower, H881, cancel landing intention.
H881, your cancellation is received.
They're well above us, so we'll be okay. And the next course we're going to want to take when we get to here is 195. So what I usually do is set this up right here.
Orbit 2458, contact ground on 121.75.
But we're about 38 miles out.
Orbit 2458.
And if we wanted to, what we could do, I'll just show you. So we're coming down over to this VOR, and it is the LFV, and this would be the Morse code, beep, 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 okay. So we can come through now. I already know that we have it, because it does say right here, but if we wanted to, we can flip on and listen to it. There it is.
Pacifica 719er 8, exit runway when able.
Everything is looking good.
Pacifica 719er 8, contact ground on 121.75. 121.75, Pacifica 719er 8.
If we get into any of the clouds, maybe I'll turn the strobes off, but we'll see. We're at our cruising altitude. So let me pause the video and pick it back up once we get closer to our VOR, and then we'll make our turn. Alright, and we're back. So we're about just 3 nautical miles out right now. Everything has been looking good. There's been no other traffic really to speak of. But we are getting ready to make our turn. So what I usually do is, because I have this already planned out here, I know what angle I need to come at, so I'll start that turn and then dial in the nav radio and get that set up, so at least I'm close to being on course. So I'm going to switch over to the heading bug, probably just right about 1 nautical out. There we go. We'll switch over to heading. So now we'll start to turn. Now the next radio was at 116.2. There we go. Okay, so that's the ACK, which is, let's see. There it is, ACK. So that is the correct one. And again, we could come through here. I'll show you where we're at. So we're making this turn. Gonna come right on down here, and there's the VOR, and there's the Morse code for that. So again, 1, 2. There it is. I'm not sure if you can switch between these stacks, but so now we can line our course back up, which is going to be right close to here, and then we follow our nav radio there, and just like that. I mean, VOR navigation, when you're using the autopilot, is a piece of cake. I've seen a lot of tutorial videos about using VOR and just adjusting the heading bug based on the, they'll adjust the course and everything, but then they just keep it on the heading bug instead of going to the nav radio for the lock. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. So, I mean, I feel that's overcomplicating things. Yeah, you can get some more information depending on an angle of attack that you want to come in at, but if you're flying just a straight flight plan, I'd rather just go from one to the other and not have to worry about any deviations of course. Plus, it's easier to correct if you're having crosswinds and stuff, because I can just easily correct the course heading while it's tuned into the nav radio, and it'll take me right in. At least that's been my experience. So, well, VOR navigation, I think, is a lot easier than it looks intimidating at first until you just understand. All I'm doing is tuning into a radio frequency over here, and I'm able to pick that up. I'm able to verify it, both visually because I can see the ACK that's listed, and I also have the Morse code heading as well. Plus, I'm getting a DME from it. So I tune into that radio, and then I tell my, OBS system right here to line it right up with it. And right now I've got heading towards, because the arrow's pointing upwards, I'm saying I'm heading towards that VOR. And I may have to make a minor correction here or there if there's some wind to deal with. But that's really about it. So, I mean, don't get freaked out about VOR navigation. And there's some people who have done some great videos out there. Doofer 911's done some really good stuff. There's plenty of information out there on VOR navigation. So let's go ahead and let's just tune in to see if we see the Nantucket airport, so we can maybe get some information from them. Nope, still not visible yet. Not that I can see. So, and there's virtually no traffic. I mean, it's a clear night for the most part. I mean, we're fine. There's no clouds whatsoever. I see no real aircraft in our vicinity. There's an airport right there. So, everything in my book seems like it should be fine. But we're looking to get to Nantucket Memorial right here. And we'll probably start actually lowering our altitude a little bit and some of our speed, because we are getting close to that. So we'll lower ourselves down to about 4,000 for right now. Because again, if we were looking at this, I mean, we're not in any major airspace where we have any that I can see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see any. I mean, we're right over here, and 4,000, we should be fine there. And then we'll get into open waters. So let's see if it's coming up now. There it is. Sorry, we'll tune to the ATIS.
Nantucket Airport information, Hotel 224.
So we have the hotel version of the ATIS.
At 13. Visibility 8. Sky conditions clear. Temperature 1.
Okay, so now we know. ILS 24. Hey, this is going to be perfect.
ILS runway 24. Landing and departing runway 24. VFR aircraft in any direction of flight. All aircraft reach back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact unit hotel. Nantucket Airport.
Okay, and we're going to request a full stop landing here.
Nantucket Tower, Beach, Kilo, Juliet, 7881 is 24 miles north with hotel to land. Beach, Kilo, Juliet, 7881, Nantucket Tower. Fly straight in, runway 24, altimeter 3003. Make straight in, runway 24, Beach, 881.
Okay, so now, as we're coming in, let's see, nope, that's not what I want. I want this. So runway 24, we have 109.1. Okay. And I usually like to bring up my GPS because that gives me a little bit better sense as well. I mean, it's amazing that we have the technology that we do nowadays. So I'm gonna switch off our nav. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to our heading bug, and I'm gonna take us a little bit to the left here, because we're gonna want to come in on runway 24. So we want to give ourselves enough. Yep, see right here.
Cessna
I'll turn
51
back a little bit
cleared,
more.
touch and go. Last traffic, runway 24.
You say left. Fly straight in.
Touch and go.
No.
Runway 24. Cessna 51, Quebec.
So I can probably put this in 109.1. And there we go. We do have it established on the localizer, so that's awesome. Just keep an eye on our airspeed here, but everything is looking good. And then we'll make a turn to 24. I mean, it's going to be, you can see the lineup is going to be, well, worry about that later. But we're going to want to come in somewhere around here, a little bit more to the left, so we come in straight in on 90 degree. And again, when we contacted them, we said with hotel. By saying hotel, that means that we had received the ATIS from them, their current up-to-date one. So they know that we've already tuned in. We know their conditions. We know what runways in use, all of that stuff. So a little bit more throttle here. Not too much. Lower our flight level to 180. And then we'll probably go ahead and start getting ready to slowly make our turn. Let's see if we can't do a picture perfect landing here. A little bit more throttle. Switch us over to approach from heading, and it should be enough for us to get lined up. Go back to throttle just a little bit. Really, once we start seeing the aircraft turn and intercept that glide slope and lining us up, then you can see we're pretty close. A little bit of flaps here to help us keep the lower speed but still maintain our...
Cessna 51 Quebec, cleared touch and go. Last traffic, runway 24. Cleared touch and go, runway 24. Cessna 51 Quebec.
Should be making a right turn very shortly. There it is. Slowly but surely. See, the aircraft is lining us up. I mean, ILSs are so simple to do. They really, really are. See, that aircraft is taking off. This is lining us up. Look at that. And then once we reach here, we'll start to see the altitude bug come off. So we kind of increase speed. We've already lost some for altitude. And really, it's just managing the throttle all the way down. You can see that we are below the glide slope, which is where you want to be. And then we'll start to see the altitude hold will come off. We'll start to see the pitch down, and actually we already see it coming down. And right when we get to here, we'll know. Everything looks good. Come back a little bit to the left. There's the altitude hold comes off.
881 cleared to land. Runway 24. Followed Cessna Skyhawk on final. Cleared to land. Runway 24. Beach 881.
just going to maintain our glide slope. If this goes up, we're going to increase our speed a little bit. Goes down below here, we'll decrease our speed. This anymore. Turn the autopilot off and bring this bird in on our own.
Beach 881 to go around. Going around Beach 881.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. So what I'm going to do here is we'll just make a left turn. Climb back up to about 2,500. They wanted us to follow that Skyhawk, but he was already, I mean, we were ahead of him. That was just weird. So I'm trying to do is just stay relatively parallel with everything. another turn. Making another left turn.
Beach 881 cleared to land. Runway 24. Follow the aircraft on short final.
Absolutely.
Cleared to land. Runway 24. Beach 881.
I guess I should have gone into a holding pattern or something, or turned left and veered and followed him in. I don't know what I should have done there. But, hey, I listened to the instructions. Calm yourselves down just a little bit. And sometimes that's just what you gotta do, you know? Looks like we'll be able to land next. That's not what I'm trying to do. There we go. So there's the airport right there. So it is what it is.
Nantucket Tower, American Pacific 8621, ready to go. Runway 24, IFR to Bermuda. American Pacific 8621, hold short. Runway 24, traffic is being aired on AC.
Thank you.
Hold short, runway 24, American Pacific 8621.
Nantucket Tower, Cessna 51 Quebec, cancel landing intention.
Cessna 51 Quebec, your cancellation is received.
There's our runway. Looks like we're holding. Alright, let's see if we can do this again. Sorry for the silence here. I'm just trying to watch my glide slope indicator and adjust the throttle accordingly. There we go. Everything looks better. Now this flight took a little bit longer than I had initially wanted it to. But I think this time we'll be able to make it in okay. There we go.
Beach 881, exit runway when able.
All right, let's take a look at that one. Instant replay. Yeah, a lot of manual stuff I was doing there. Might not have been the smoothest of landings, but you know, we got down fine, which was good. It was definitely a little bit lower than I would have liked to have been, especially with those tree lines there. Yeah, see, I was coming a little bit too low. So I was having trouble with the throttle, trying to get it to do what I wanted it to do. Here we come in. I mean, I've already cut the throttle down. It wasn't too bad. And pretty close to center line. And so there we go. There we have our little old wings flight. So thanks for joining me on this flight. And until next time, this is your captain signing off.